Hi, I'm Nick Gomersall, Director for New Products, and today I'm going to be talking to Steve McEvoy, who is the Director for Client Strategy. Hi Steve.
Hi
welcome.
Nick.
The first question I want to ask you is that we're probably very well known for the solution being used in the warehouse, but what other solutions do we have to assist our customers?
That's a great question, and you're right that our clients recognise us as a multi-carrier manager and predominantly use us in the warehouse for production of labels, allocation and those areas. But given our principles, which are around first-time delivery success, multi-carrier management obviously, and first-time resolution success, we have other areas of functionality that I believe clients are underutilising. An example of that would be delivery options. It's really important as our clients spend a lot of money attracting customers to their website that they convert that into transactions and into money. And so being able to offer a broader delivery promise at the point of order is very important. But it's very complicated as well. The more carriers, the more carrier services that you utilize in your portfolio, the more complicated that matrix can become. And so most of our clients are moving from a standard next day type portfolio service to introducing premium services. An example of that would be evening delivery or time delivery or even day of promise. I don't want the order to arrive until next Wednesday. And to be able to manage that, you need to have some dynamic activity happening in the website. If you don't link the back-end proposition, the promise that can be made, with the front end, and bring those two things together, it's a complex matrix and a complex environment. So Metapack has functionality that enables the website to actually talk to the same piece of functionality that's dealing with allocation rules, label production, etc., to simplify the offer that is made to the customer in real time. So therefore, an example would be going back to evening delivery. If you're outside of an evening delivery geography, evening delivery would not be presented to you on the website. And therefore, you're more likely as a consumer to find something that is acceptable to you within your price
so
band.
That possibly means that they abandon the shopping basket.
Exactly.
So that by having all these delivery options, as you said right at the beginning, the chances are that the transaction will be completed because there's so many shopping baskets that get abandoned, don't they?
Correct.
So,
and it's not just one of the reasons that shopping baskets are abandoned, Nick, is because a lot of consumers can't actually find out the actual price of buying from the site until they enter into the shopping basket.
Yeah.
Because the delivery price is not presented on the item page. There's an opportunity here for the web developers to actually make a real-time call to the back end, to Metapack in the back end, which is managing the delivery, and say, we've got a customer on the website, they're looking at the item page, what would be the approximate price of delivery for this customer? And therefore give the consumer the view of product price and delivery price, all in that one encompassing thing. Now obviously we want to try and upsell the customer, but what we don't want the consumer to do is to go into the basket, find out that actually it's too much or there's not a proposition that meets their requirement, and then come out again.
Okay, so delivery options seems pretty cool. What else do we have?
Well, once the parcels have all left the retailer, there's a lot that goes on before it actually reaches the consumer. Some businesses historically have been of the mindset that once they've thrown the parcels out of the warehouse, to exaggerate the expression, it's now the carrier's problem to get it to the consumer. But it's really important to remember that the brand has the relationship with the consumer and should really manage that delivery stage as well. So inevitably, the consumer will contact the brand if something in their delivery is outside of their expectation. Typical thing is ringing up and asking what's the status of their order.
Yeah.
We define this as a Wizmo call or a where is my order call. And lots of customer services departments, if they're watching this video, will know that they get a number of Wizmo calls. Those Wizmo calls can be prior to the parcel leaving the building. Could be an overexcited consumer, or it can be because there's actually been a delivery problem. Typically, those Wizmo calls require a reactive response from the customer services team. And within MetaPack, we have the ability to provide tracking information against the order number and the consignment in a single screen for all of the carriers that they might be working with. The benefit of this is that if the carrier team decide to introduce a new carrier or new service, the customer services team don't need to actually understand how that's going to be used by the business. They just know that all the tracking information, all the visibility that they need to be able to answer that consumer's call is right there in front of them.
So it's all in one place. They just have to use the MetaPack system, and multiple carriers, they can just click on all the stuff rather than having to come out of where they are and going onto the carrier's websites.
Exactly.
Sounds cool. What other solutions do we have then, Steve?
The other area of excitement is that businesses and brands want to be more reactive. So they want to actually, they want to be proactive. They want to be able to tell the consumer when there's a problem and not wait for the consumer to contact them. So we've actually built functionality in this area as well. Because we know what causes a problem, we know what causes a Wizmo call. The Wizmo calls are normally generated by the wrong expectation of delivery date, by one of the exceptions that may happen, i.e. a parcel is misrouted or damaged or lost for a period of time by the carrier, and those calls create Wizmo calls. So MetaPack has the ability, because it's tracking those, because it's pulling that tracking information, tracking those parcels, if you will, through the carrier's network, has the ability to be able to generate automatic communication to the consumer if one of those statuses arise. Okay. So for example, if a parcel is misrouted, that's normally going to generate a delay of that delivery to the consumer. MetaPack has the ability to be able to email that consumer or text that consumer to say your parcel has been delayed and it will arrive X.
A lot of retailers have to sort of, or thinking about going out to the carrier website to see where things are, but we're fortunate that we've got this thing called MetaTrack, and also you can put that on your website so customers can come to your website and see where it is rather than firing off into the courier's website. Can you explain a little bit more about MetaTrack and how that works?
Absolutely. The challenge for the retailer is to retain the consumer, and once, as part of the fulfillment cycle, you've given the parcel across to the carrier, you're quite right, it's common to push the consumer out to the carrier's website. This isn't really what we want to do. It's not best practice. It's not going to drive the best relationship between the consumer and the brand. What we really want to do is we want to keep the consumer within the website and keep them focused on the brand and feeling that the brand is serving them in its best way. So we've come up with a widget which we call MetaTrack, and MetaTrack has the tracking information of any particular order that's gone through MetaPack. So this is a skinnable solution that can be put into a web environment. That web environment could be mobile or could be on our traditional website. It could be a simple landing page that could be, the consumer can be driven there by an email, or it could be within the My Account section. But it enables the retailer to display the tracking information for that particular order back to the consumer. And the benefit of that is that most consumers who have bought through the e-commerce channels are very happy to self-serve. So they're happy to go and hunt down this information themselves. If you can provide this information to them, you can retain them in the website. It gives an opportunity to upsell and cross-sell, but it also means that they are fulfilled and they won't call the contact centre, inducing more cost for that particular order. Okay, that sounds
really good. And then coming back to the actual retailer, I believe we've just released something called exception reporting. So to basically monitor the parcels that are out there. This is more, I suppose, for the retailer rather than the customer, I believe.
Correct, yeah. It's very important that we try and deliver everything first time to the consumer, but inevitably that's not going to happen. Therefore, we have parcels that need to be managed. they need more attention. If they're not given that attention, they'll generate a Wizmo call by the consumer.
Right.
So we need to be able to identify those parcels and work through, certainly if you're expecting to deliver high service, you need to be able to work through those range of parcels. So exceptions, an example of an exception would be that the carrier can't find the address, or that the parcel might have been misrouted, or the parcel's been damaged during delivery. We now have the functionality, the reporting capability, to be able to separate those exceptions out. It's all configurable by the retailer as to which ones are important to them. And then the customer services team, or whoever is charged with managing those exceptions, can then work through the exceptions either by group or by individual. So, for example, with damaged parcels, it may be that actually you deal with your carrier in bulk. For things that are address queries, each one of those you may need to go back to the consumer either via email or phone and clarify the address details before a delivery can be made. But they can be managed through the exception workflow.
Well, that's been really interesting talking to you, because obviously we came from the concept of just printing labels and we've moved right out to all the other features that we've got, and I hope that this video will be of use to our customers so that they can maybe give you a call and find out a little bit more about what you've been talking about today.
Brilliant. And I hope that anybody that does watch it comes back to the website and they've got our contact information and they can come and ask us more about it. We can set it up for them.